Hello, a very good day. Welcome back. We're making a 2-element Yagi today to put on the mast, the tower, whatever you want to call it, the contraption. We're making 2 elements because it's kind of easy to match to 50 ohms. It's really cheap to build. It is quite big, but it just gets us testing the tower out. I've got a few bits and pieces I'm waiting for the tower before I actually lift it back over and so on. We got another set of guys to put on. We got some heavier rope turning up. But that's for another video. Let's build a 2-element Yagi for 20 meters right now. That'll get us on the air with the tower while we have spent some time and effort developing the quad. All right, so let's get to the workshop and see how we get on. That is the boom to mast. That's easy because I bought this. Now, I made these years ago and I'm just trying to take these clamps out because obviously when I made these I didn't have the right drill bit, but I've got a 9. These are just, you know, when it's just so tight you can't get the blooming things out. So I'll just drill these out a whisker, and these can be the element to boom. So let's get the drill. I don't need the drill press, we'll just stick it in the vise. I'm only taking out a whisker, so it doesn't really matter. I've got my level here, remember? Alright. I can't remember which ones where now. They're the small ones. We've got some saddles as well. Oh, that's easier. Small ones for the saddle. I think it'd be a blooming idea if I swap these around. Silly me. Didn't take a moment. See, I'm filming again and making mistakes. So why a 2-element Yagi? Because it's blooming easy to build and it's got a very good match to 50 ohms. And this height, well, any height really, certainly at half a wavelength, you get great gain, you know, and it's dirt cheap to home brew one. All right, so we've got a little doublet sensor. I'll use that to collect my coax. Need a choke as well. I've already laid out a thin wall. That'll be the boom. So the elements will go that way. I've got 4 DX Commander Rapide poles, 2 joiners effectively. These are probably too long actually. I could cut them in half. I could turn this into a kit actually if you're interested in a homebrew Yagi. You've already seen me mucking with these. I assume that is big enough. Oh no, it's not. Oh, it might be, hang on. You're not allowed to assume anything, are you? The thing I haven't worked out yet, by the way, this is this boom is too long. I don't need it this long. But we can cut that, you know. Maybe I might even stutter about it as well. Why won't it go any further? Oh, there we are. So that just fitted on and no more. You can feel it when it's tightening, can't you? We put them on the top or the bottom. I think we'll just put them there. So the plan, how I did this before, is that I managed to get the DX Commander tube inside here, which will make taking that off. Let me faff around, I'll get back to you. I'm filming and doing this at the same time, which is absolutely ridiculous as usual. There we are, I'll fit one there and one on the other side. So I need to reconfigure this so we can do that and film it right through the guide. So I've got this fitting really nicely. It's all snug inside here, and I've got a bit of tape literally just there, so when it's here, and I mean, I'm not going to crush it down that hard, it's just enough to stop it falling out, you know. But anyway, so I'll do the other pole and then we can sort of prototype this, because it was an idea. I don't quite know if it's going to work, but let's have a look. I flipped it over so I can't see what I'm doing now, but I can let you see. So I've just got to do the bolts up on the top, get these fairly accurate, and well, see what happens. Wait for the crack. Not too tight. We're on fiberglass, remember. All right, it's just enough. And we flip the whole thing back up around again. So 20 metre dive pole, look. Oh, good. It's nice and light. You forget how big 20 metres is, actually, isn't it? But that is, there's hardly any droop as well, look. Oh, that's handy. I could easily do a kit, you know. You get these cuts here, get some bolts, a couple of fiberglass poles, 2 of these. We've got a little dipole centre thing. Easy peasy. Right, we put one of these workhorses over the other side. I've got to take this off. We will have to cut this. I'll bring out the circular saw in a bit. And I need to do a tiny bit of modelling. Yeah, I feel it's about 2.5 metres, about 8-9 feet. I feel that's the boom, but what have I got here? I've got about 3.5, look. As long as it's not more than that, it'll be fine. And of course, when the tower's down, this tower over here, with the tower down, yeah, I can easily fit the boom to mast connector. It'll be about kind of neck height, won't it? If it's 10 foot, you know. All right, let's get the other bits on. I'll show you what I've done. I've taken the wrong ones off. Obviously, we'll be using wire for the element. It's not aluminium. I just thought I'd say that in case you're wondering. I think we'll wait until we actually put the blooming things on. Since you were currently sitting on this, I'll have to find something else for you to go on. It's all becoming a bit big, isn't it? I'm becoming a bit of an expert at this now. No, I'm not. I should have left that on. I've just got to clamp this. Hang on a minute. So I found it's about 7 or 8 there, or 6 or 7 down there, and it's the perfect amount of padding. Yeah, it feels like I'm making a bit of a pig's ear out of this, but it's just a feeling. It's only because I have to film it as well, you know. Because there's people out there who genuinely, you know, don't know. So I'll show you. And tonight I'll work out the dimensions, so tomorrow we should be able to put the wire on, you know. It'd be really cool to slip the wire inside, but cool and practical are two different things. Actually, I could slip this one on. Now, then everything would stay balanced for a bit, wouldn't it? Oh no, I put too much tape that side. One wrap. I can't find the end because I didn't leave a field detail. There it is. So one wrap about there. I remember the first time I built one of these for 40 metres, it was really quite exciting. It had never occurred to me quite how big everything was. Because 40 metres, you know, at a Yagi, it's just huge. I think we had a 5.5 metre boom. Everything was enormous. That looks straight. Somewhere in here I have a spanner, So I'm happy doing these up, but I won't completely tension those. And I'm just looking at the, we're a couple of degrees out, if that. If you hear any cracking, stop. You can kind of get a sense, maybe, of the scale. There we are. 20 metre Yagi, look. And it weighs next to nothing, which I'm rather pleased about. This is so light that a couple of strong guys and hard hats just push that up. And that's what James and I used to do. 2 aluminium poles with a good coupler, a small rotator, and a 2 metre 17 element tonner beam it was, and we actually just put a heavy weight at the bottom on a big sort of parasol base, and we just walked the thing up. That was 20 years ago, mind, but that's what we do. I'll tell you what we haven't done today, but pointless doing it right now. We've got the little boom to mast connector, which obviously goes halfway down there. Well, we can do that tomorrow, along with a little dipole centre which is sitting on the chair there, the coax, choke balun. Right, while I'm moving this thing around that you're watching now on the drone, so a 2-element Yagi gives about 2.5 to 3.5 dB of gain, but you've got to remember, well, dBi, you always have to compare dB with something to another. That's why we often say dBi, because we're comparing it to an isotropic. But let's compare it to something we know, like a vertical on the ground, all right? And let's just pick an imaginary datum line of 5 degrees off the horizon. So we know normally with, let's say, DX Commander 12.4, no matter what band I'm on, I'll achieve about -5 dB, all right? Well, dBi. Just call it dB, it doesn't matter. We're not actually referring to anything. Because when we model a 2-element Yagi at 13 metres, it's about 8 dB more gain in one direction, but also it means we've got some front to back as well. So there we go. Now, that's where you know the story, and I seem to have tidied up my Yagi, even though I haven't, because I haven't flown the drone yet. It is the next day. Welcome back. So I've been doing some tinkering with some numbers. So, and we'll fire up somewhere around here MMA&A, because there's a couple of ways of doing this. I'm not saying MMA&A is the best software package or anything like that, but it gives us an idea on a model roughly what's going to happen. So you can see on the screen I have some sort of Yagi. Okay, so we're looking right down on it there, x-axis on the right, and we'll face it that way. So that is the longer element on the right, and that is the driven element on the left, which happens to say at the bottom right here, wire 2. And I've got some numbers at the top here which we'll come to, which is the dimensions, the lengths, and that sort of thing. I'm at 13 meters. This is going to be copper wire. I'll start, and it's giving me an SWR here of 1.56 with an impedance of 36 ohms. Now you could match this. I'm happy with 1.56. Let's just have a look at the curve, you know, the SWR curve. What is likely to be seen at the base of the antenna, detailed. You can see that I've got 2 to 1 here at about 14.1 and 2 to 1 at 14.4 out of band. So I'm actually under 2 to 1. However, for the paranoids amongst us, what we could do is we can go to the advanced button and 37.5. How do we get 37.5? So 275 ohm coax at quarter wavelength, less the velocity factor, with both the braids strapped together and both the insides, you know, the conductors strapped together. So now we're imagining it as one piece of coax. So 75 ohm now, all right, a pair of them. Quarter wavelength, less velocity factor, means that our SWR would come down to 1.33. If we go to the plots, go to the SWR, you can see now I'm under 1.5 to 1 almost for the whole band. I don't care. So what does it look like? It looks like this, and we can fire up a fancy plot here to say most of our energy is going in the planned direction. This is my geometry. So I'm going to have a boom length of 2.75 meters. And if we ask Google, convert 2.75 meters to feet and inches, why not? Well, it's 9 feet. 9 feet. It doesn't matter if it's 9 feet and an inch or 8 foot, 11 3/4. It just doesn't matter. So that's good. That's my boom length, 2.75. So I'll take the circular saw out and cut that. And then I've got minus 5.25 to plus 5.25, which is 10.5 meters. That's my reflector. And my driven element have got legs of a minus 506 and plus 506. Right. Now, all materials will have a velocity factor because the speed of light can't go quick enough down the speed of light. So I put a quick spreadsheet together to say, well, if these are my numbers, and I don't know what the velocity factor at 20 megahertz is of DX10. I've got a funny feeling it's 93, 94%. So I'm going to go somewhere around here. 9.765 meters is our reflector. And there we are. Okay, good. Now that we've done that, we need to work out, we need a piece of coax. We're going to make a choke balun. So before Steve passed away, G3T, he did air cord. Here we are. We need to find some RG58. We will do 13 turns on 4 1/4. Let me just put it here. 13 turns, 4.25 inches. Now, how do we test it? That's an interesting conundrum because I can't put it on the mast yet because I've got more guys to put on the mast. I've got a pulley turning up and everything else. I don't want to touch the mast right now. There is a bit of hearsay which says if you stand the Yagi up on the ground with the driven element here and the reflector on the ground, you'll get a pretty close match to what's actually going to happen when it ends up in the tower. I don't know if that's true, but it would be really interesting to measure that and then measure it again on the tower to see the difference. So let me grab some RG58 and we'll sort that problem out, and let's get this thing built and tested. All right. Right, I've actually found some RG58 and it's already got, and I've tested the little SO, PL259 on the end. So we'll have, let's have 2 meters of spare. No, we don't, 1.5. We'll put 1.5 out the way, and then we'll reel the rest onto this, because I have discovered a tin of paint which is 4.25 inches, 11 centimeters. So hopefully the tin of paint won't open up. I'm going to tape a couple of cable ties, top and bottom, so we'll be able to tape the thing up before we take it off, if we can get it off, because we got this lip. So maybe we should pad it out with a user guide. I think we'll do that actually, so it slips off. The user guide for I don't know, some walkie-talkie. There's nothing like a bit of experience to know what's going to happen. Well, let's start off with a few and then we'll go from there. So let's have a look. 1. Oh, somebody calling me. Jeez. Hello. I mean, this is a cheap, dirty, what they call a dirty balun. I think they call it dirty. It's not a balun at all, of course. It's a choke. And particularly on a Yagi, what we don't want is the coax skewing the pattern. You know, we've gone to all this effort to get a nice pattern on a Yagi, and then we've got the coax, a tiny bit of radiation off the coax, and that's going to cock us up. So we can slip this whole thing off now, I think, if I've gauged it right, or I have, it's coming. Let me put the camera off because you've been on for a while. You've actually been on for 8 minutes 54, although of course when I come to edit that, there is no way that you'll have seen 8 minutes 54 worth of footage. But you know what, if I hadn't put this little user guide in here, that would have been a lot more difficult. Alright, let me sort this out and then I'll get back to you. Alright, I thought I'd come down to my little sit down bench here and finish the job here. So all we're going to use is a little doublet centre thing that I made up. We sell these, not a lot of money. We get them made in that super fancy plastic, marine plastic. So let me shut up and we'll make this. Alright, so I've separated that from that. We will put a fork connector on either end and then we'll wrap the whole thing self-amalgamating tape, I think. I don't know what to do now, because I was going to put some heat shrink over the whole thing. But anyway, if we're doing self-amount, I mean, it just annoyed me now. You know when you just think, hang on, that's not right. I can't really. You'll never pull these off. No. Okay, if I can't pull them off. Oh, I know, I've got that rubber compound. Not very pleasant at all. Although it smells rather pleasant. Colin used this for a project as well. Colin Hexbeam man. This wears off, by the way, but at least I'd like to get a blob down there. Hee hee, I've done it. I can't remember how long this takes to dry. Oh, while I'm here, I'll do the braid as well. You know, once you get into something, you can't stop. So we'll let that dry, okay, and then we'll put some self-amalgamating on as well. Good, I'll be back in a bit. I'll make a coffee. Part 2, some claps. Okay, that worked. What I did find out is this is extremely flammable, but I didn't catch that on video. So this is self-amalgamating tape. I'm just going to rip the back off, and this is extra huge stuff actually. My radio's clicking. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's well, we'll start here. Just give a bit of tension. But this isn't, you know, the way to do it. Don't copy me. I'm just trying to find a way of getting the self-amalgamating tape on nicely, you know. That is enough. Now I'm just going to push it and squidge it all together. So that's going to go in these holes. So what we'll do is we'll put, it looks like when I designed this, I made these kind of self-threading. Let's speed the film up while I do this. Oh, I didn't know I was that strong. We'll work from this side now. We will put a washer on there. I'll just use a wing nut because that's what I've got lying around. Careful. Oh, by the look of it, that could short to that, couldn't it? So we'll have to be careful about that. What were my wire dimensions again? What are we heading at? Okay, so if we just get 2 10 meters of wire, we should have enough. I'd be interested to know if you've built a Yagi or a loop fed Yagi, maybe even for 6 or 2, and what, you know, what tips you've got after you've watched me, because that might be quite interesting for me to read. By the way, the element doesn't start there. The element actually starts here, remember. These warm, cold, whatever, yeah, that's fine. Alright, so I'm going to finish my coffee, we'll go outside, we'll fit it, and we'll put the meter on it. We'll do that trick where you stand the Yagi on its end, on its bottom, just to see if there's a tune. I mean, it seems a bit weird to me, but because, you know, it's quite low to the ground, you've got the rest of the ground, you know, capacitance, whatever. If you know that trick, let me know. All right, outside. Well, finish my coffee. I'll see you there. I've just propped up this element a tiny bit, just so when I fit it, it looks. Oh, hang on. We can still go up on the left-hand side. I wonder if I can fit that under. Actually, it needs to go more. What else have I got in my pocket? I've put my electric cigar thing there. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do these up now. Very sleek looking aircraft, that one. I don't know what it is. Right, if you actually lift it up in the air, it's balanced now. We are cock on. Lovely. Okay, that's actually about the same as the other one. Lovely. No sparks today, kids. It's aluminium. Come from this side. A bit closer cut. So the camera's in the wrong place. Cameraman, can you go over there? Thank you. Oh, lovely rough edges. Tiny design flaw in that. Oh, that's obviously metal there. Oh, wait a minute. No, these are insulated, so it doesn't kind of matter if they accidentally touch that. I think there's nice because, well, I just do for some reason. I can't do this and film, so I'll get back to you. I worked out that these things aren't touching the boom or anything else, so these are just aluminium. However, what I've done is I've kind of forced these bolts up against the threads, so I don't get any flash over or whatever else. Got a couple of big cable ties each side, and then a big one. It just goes under here, and it just holds everything. Well, it's really, really tight now. I've got the choke. I'm just hanging that under here. Don't know if that's the right thing to do. And we tail over there. So next job is putting the elements on, which I just threw into my backpack. Oh, so any luck, the whole thing will fall apart. I'm not expecting it to literally fall apart. Oh, but it does. The spec said 471, but because I've got a little bit of coax, which is part of the element, I'll just cut it 1 centimetre short. I mean, as if it would make much difference, but anyway. So we're on the top of the element here. Alright. So I'll run all the way down and get back to you. Okay, elements are on. They're not fully protected on the ends. Long term, I'd probably put a dab of glue on the end or something like that, but that's fine. That's the reflector, the back here. So, if you know, I've only heard this once before, but let's tip it up on its back and measure it, see what happens. That might be quite interesting. Alright, I've got my stick. Let's have a look. I've already put an SO239 adapter, you know. 14.2, which is about there, at 100k each side. Oh, that's fine. Well, that's all right, isn't it? So, we know something's working. That's the point. So, okay, let me stop this. So that's with the driven element, well, I don't know, well, 2.75 metres off the ground. And with our little coax here. I don't know how reliable that is. If you know a better method of measuring a Yagi on the ground without tilting the mast over, tower, whatever, let me know. I've got to find a safe place for this. Now, listen. I got some jobs to do on the tower, which we'll film, and we're high power. You should be hearing me in the US pretty easily, I'd have thought, with this, which would be great fun, particularly at the height. What I'm worried about is that if YouTube doesn't offer any more of my videos to you, and it happens, remember the story with me and Andrew Camarata, all of a sudden YouTube forgot that I liked watching his stuff because I wasn't subscribed. So I go through all this effort, and then you'll think to yourself, oh, I'd be fascinated to know what happens in a week's time when Callum gets on this on the tower. And then you think to yourself, a year goes down the line, go, what happened to that? What happened to that Callum geezer? Is he still making videos? What happened? It's because YouTube can easily forget to offer you a video, all right? There's one way out of it. It's hit the blooming subscribe button. It costs nothing. I don't earn any money off it or anything else. It's just a way of you and me keeping in touch. That's all. All right. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I can't wait to get it on the tower. So have a great day. Enjoy your radio. Oh, give me a few days and we'll get this up, right? And we'll have a laugh. But in the meantime, I bid you farewell. Enjoy your radio and all that stuff. And I'll see you next time. All right, bye for now.